Am I wrong for laughing at my friend's future baby's name? My 24 female best friend, 24 female Amber, is pregnant with a baby girl, and she told me that the name was already decided, but it was a secret for the moment. She wanted to tell me first that the name she chose was Privilege. I started laughing because the name sounds really stupid to me. She is really mad at me for my reaction. I can't really ask for feedback from our other friend because I can't tell them the name. My mother thinks that the name is not so bad and that I was mean, but my dad agrees with me. Amber says that people have always told her that she is so privileged for being so pretty and having a family so rich, but that she never felt really privileged until she felt her daughter inside of her. The name is meant to represent that. I respect that, but I think the name is really unusual and that poor girl will probably get bullied because of it eventually. Also, I think the idea of privilege is linked to a lot of people in the United States to the notion of white privilege. And if the daughter looks like Amber, who is really white and blonde, that name could be bad for her. Maybe nothing of this is my problem, but she is my friend and I worry about her and her baby. So, am I the asshole?
I hooked up with my stepbrother and now he's blackmailing me. What should I do? Disclaimers on my Storytime was sending me on Instagram. Yes, I admit it. I'm an absolutely vile human being for hooking up with my stepbrother. Okay, but he's really, really hot. We're both 18, but this all went down when we were 17. A little backstory. My parents got divorced 5 years ago and this affected me severely. I was so angry at them for separating us. I began to have a lot of anxiety about it. My dad was the one to move out of the house. So my mom and I tried to make the best of it. Not 2 months after their divorce was finalized, my mom met another guy, and he was the perfect man. He was really good looking and the CEO of a huge company. My mom's 45 and he's actually 10 years older than her. Being the angry teen that I was, I didn't want to accept it. She invited him over so that we could meet, but I was pretty much an asshole the entire time. To be honest, after the dinner, I actually ended up liking him. He was really funny, he made my mom laugh, and he understood my humor. All of this, of course, made my mom really happy. A few days later, this man calls me and tells me that he wants to propose to my mom. So he essentially wanted to get my permission first. So I said yes. That's when he moved in with his son. Part 2 is up. I hooked up with my stepbrother and now he's blackmailing me. That's when my mom's new fiance and his son were moving into our house. I decided that I would try to make the best of it. I was always so angry that I just needed to give myself a break. And the first time that I met him was when he moved in. As soon as he came in through the door, I was literally speechless. He was so hot. Like the best looking guy that I had ever seen in my life. I'm sorry you guys, I have hiccups right now. And we couldn't stop looking at each other. We all sat down to have lunch and he and I just stared at each other the entire time. That's when my stepdad told us that after the wedding, we were all moving to a new house. Like I said, he has a lot of money. And I was actually really excited about this. A new house meant a new start. But guess what? My stepbrother started coming to the same school that I did. So we would basically go to school together every single day. That's when we both found out that we had so much in common. While we drove to school, he would always turn to look at me. And I would ask what's up and he would say nothing. But one night he came into my room and he kissed me. Part 3 is up. There I am making out with my stepbrother in my own bed. Mind you, I was asleep when he came in. As soon as I realized he was kissing me, I got out of bed. That's when he told me that he knew that we were both attracted to each other and that we should just do it. I stayed quiet and I didn't know how to respond. I felt super shy and embarrassed. Then he grabbed me and kissed me again. I told him to leave my room and he did. But after that, the sexual tension was real. I always caught him staring at me. Even at school, he would stare at me. And he would go out of his way to bump into me. One day we were driving home and he pulls over on a deserted road. He started kissing me and I couldn't resist. We ended up making out in his car for like an hour. After that, he told me that he wanted me to be his girlfriend, but in secret, and that he didn't want our parents to find out. But I said no because it's wrong. We live in the same house and our parents are married to each other. Of course, he got angry. Now he just grabs me and kisses me whenever he wants. And he says that I am his girlfriend even if I don't want to. And he told me that if I don't accept, he'll tell his dad about us. I really like him, but I think it's wrong. What should I do?
Am I wrong for blowing up at my wife for going to her gender reveal appointment without me? My wife and I are expecting our first baby together. We made an appointment to find out the gender of the baby. To me, this was very important because I have hopes for a boy. Unfortunately, the day of the doctor's appointment, I had to attend my friend's birthday that I remembered last minute. I asked my wife if we could cancel the appointment and go another day, but she looked shocked that I even considered canceling the appointment and going to my friend's birthday. She said canceling the doctor appointment was off the table because these appointments are restricted to a specific time and date and we can't miss it, so she'll go alone. I told her no because that'd be selfish of her. How is it selfish of her when you don't want to miss your friend's birthday party? Like, I told her no because that would be selfish of her, and besides, this will ruin the news of finding out if the baby is a boy or a girl. She cut the discussion and told me to go to the birthday party. I did, and then later found out that she didn't cancel the doctor appointment and went with her mom. I came home seething and blew up at her. I started arguing with her about going behind my back and doing this without me. She said it wasn't her fault that I prioritized a party over my child. I told her I didn't prioritize anything. She literally could have canceled and we would have went another day, but clearly she was trying to steer the fight to a direction where I looked like the neglectful and irresponsible one. We fought some, then she said I'm probably angry with her because it's a girl, but I responded that she was wrong. She went outside the room claiming I was stressing her out. Now she's acting like I owe her an apology on top of everything else, but I feel upset like I was deceived by her. So am I the asshole? You could have taken your wife, found out the gender, dropped her home, and then gone to the party late. 2 birds, 1 stone, multitasking. Like, you didn't want to do that, so for sure you are. Like, your friends there, these times with your babies are very limited. Like, why would you not pick your kid? You think your friend would have been upset? Absolutely not. Actually, how old are you? He doesn't even see you. I can't speak. Am I wrong for telling my sister I will no longer give her my breast milk? I, 28 female, had a stillbirth 5 weeks ago. My sister gave birth to a healthy baby boy 4 weeks ago. After my stillbirth, I was producing milk and pumping, and my sister couldn't breastfeed after her son was born. Formula shortage was awful, and I was literally throwing my milk away, so I offered it to my sister, and she gladly accepted. I was advised by the doctors to pump for 3 weeks after the stillbirth to prevent problems for me. And then stop. Otherwise, I just keep producing milk. Due to the formula shortage, I have been pumping for 5 weeks now to give the milk to my sister. Now that there is more formula in stock and she has been able to go buy it, I told her I'll stop pumping. She told me her son has stomach problems after the formula and asked me to keep pumping. I told her I emotionally cannot handle it any longer. She said I am being selfish and she already has to feed her son by bottle because she at first suggested I just nurse him for his daily feedings at least. We live next door and I refused. I told her I am sorry and I can pump for a few more days so she can put some in the freezer and have some backup until she finds a better formula for her son. But she said breast milk is the healthiest and I should just help her out. She called me a selfish asshole and said that I am the embodiment of misery loves company. What? How can people say this to their own sister? My mother feels I should help my own sister out. My husband said my sister is way out of line. I feel really awful because I could still help her out and I know she needs it. Oh, heck no. You did her more than enough by giving 5 weeks of milk when you were supposed to stop at 3. And she's, the entitlement is like blowing my mind. If she wants to give her kid breast milk, she needs to try harder to feed him. Like, why is she putting that on you? Do you know how much of a strain it is on your body, on your day? You have to go about your whole day going around trying to pump because you're producing. Oh, get out of here. She needs to take a chill pill.
Am I the asshole for asking my husband to stay with his family while he's unemployed? My husband and I have been married for over a year now and things couldn't be rockier. I have a good job and make a decent amount of money, whereas my husband made not as much as me. Due to this and the fact that he was still living with his parents when we got married, we decided he'd move in with me and I would continue to pay the rent and bills as long as he paid for other things we need as a couple. My name is also the only one on the lease. However, once we got married, he started to cut down on his work hours without saying anything. He said that I made plenty of money for both of us so he could work part-time and do the work around the house. I was upset that he assumed, but I didn't say anything as this felt fair. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to stay with his family while he's unemployed? He helped initially, but the majority of the time he goes to the bar and plays games. So I was both working and doing household chores. He then told me he was laid off, and I assumed in this time he was job hunting. So I was now paying everything: rent, bills, groceries, insurance, etc. A week ago, I asked him how the job hunting was going, and he told me he didn't feel like it was worth it and that he was comfortable with what we had now. I said I was doing everything financially while he sat around and played games. He let it slip that he quit and never looked for another job. So I told him to leave, and my in-laws are understanding but calling me an asshole for not wanting him to come home. Am I the asshole for calling the cops because no one picked up the kid I was babysitting? My boyfriend and I took his ex's kid for a last-minute overnight stay since the father of the kid canceled on her. The ex and him must be on good terms because at first I thought he was the father. Anyway, she had plans with her friends for the night and we weren't busy, so we took him. We then told her we had brunch reservations the next morning at 11, and while we were happy to help, she needed to pick him up by 9 a.m. She knew this and agreed when she dropped him off. Yeah, it's really refreshing that they're all so amicable. Well, the next morning, it's 9 a.m. and she isn't here yet. We text and call with no answer. 10 a.m. rolls around and we call again. Am I the asshole for calling the cops because no one picked up the kid I was babysitting? She picks up in a groggy voice and tells us she has the worst hangover and won't pick him up until 2 p.m. We remind her about our reservation and she tells us to take him with us. He He's 2 and it's not enjoyable to take a child this age to eat. My boyfriend then cancels our reservation. I'm furious. This is not my child or my boyfriend's child. I call and say if she doesn't come by noon, I'd be calling the police to collect her child. She called me the B word and I told her now she has 30 minutes. She never came, so I called the cops and they took him to the station. She showed up at 3 p.m. and was pissed off when she found out.